All right, what's going on, people? We are back. JV Wins, Dogon SS, Conscious Approach. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to us here on YouTube. Thank you for the support. Go ahead and do your boys a big old solid. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about any of the videos on this channel, man. We do this each and every week. We upload each and every day. So we certainly appreciate everybody who has joined us along for the ride. Um, it is on to Team USA at the Olympics. NBA season is over. It is what it is. Uh, Go Team USA, I suppose.
Again, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's always a bit of a downer once the NBA season ends because then we gotta, trudge it through the summertime until we get to the start of college football, pretty much. But then it ramps right back up in the fall. So shouts out to all my sports heads who feel that lull the same way that we do whenever the summertime hits. But yeah, man, leave your boys a big old shout out, man. Let us know what you think. We'll go ahead and get things kicked off. Got a few interesting things to talk about tonight. We're going to start with an update to the ongoing Diddy Love, Diddy Puff, Puff Diddy, Diddy Puff saga, the diddler, swindler, thief in the night, the guy who was looking for his bowl of gold at the end of the rainbow, Mr. Diddy Puff.
Mm-hmm.
And in the latest instance of this ongoing Diddy Puff saga, the key to the city of New York, which was recently bestowed upon him by the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, has been rescinded in light of the very disturbing looking video that went viral of Diddy and Cassie getting into it in the hallway of a hotel in Los Angeles. That didn't look good to anybody, but Diddy's getting a lot of bad press as a result. One of the pieces of collateral damage that he has incurred from that is he has had his key to the city taken away from him. So we'll go ahead and provide a little context real quick. Diddy's taking a few of these hits here. So this article from Hip Hop DX says Diddy's key to the city rescinded by New York City mayor following video of assault on Cassie. Diddy's key to New York City has been rescinded by Mayor Eric Adams in response to the recently released video of Puffy brutally attacking his then girlfriend Cassie in 2016. TMZ obtained 2 letters on Saturday, which was June 15th, one of which was sent to Combs Entertainment LLC's office in New York and the other to his LA office. They were addressed to Diddy, courtesy of Mayor Adams, who said he was deeply disturbed by the Cassie video. Adams said in the letter that he stands with survivors of domestic abuse and outlined that the key is used to recognize outstanding citizens. The mayor noted that the bad boy mogul no longer fits the criteria. The New York City chief also provided an address to which Diddy could return the keys. This move marks the first time a key to the Big Apple has been rescinded. Diddy reportedly received the letter on June 4th and returned the honor on June 10th. Rumors of the key withdrawal began back in May when the New York City mayor spoke with PIX11 and was quizzed about the shocking footage that surfaced of Puffy attacking. Asked whether Diddy's key to New York City, which Adams presented to him during a ceremony in Times Square last September, could be revoked, the mayor said he and his team were considering it. I think all of us were deeply disturbed by watching that chilling video of the young lady being assaulted. The committee and the team, we've never rescinded a key before, but we are now sitting down to see what the next steps forward are going to be. Asked again in more direct fashion if he was considering taking the honor away, Adams replied, "We are taking everything under analysis and the team will come back to me with a final determination." One person who will surely have a comment on Diddy losing his key to the city, 50 Cent, who recently took his troll campaign against Diddy up a notch by attending a comedy roast of the embattled mogul in Miami. So there you have it. Diddy had his key to the city taken away. First time that ever happened in the history of New York. I'm not sure if there was before that a precedent for that in other places outside of New York, but in terms of New York itself, that's the first time that ever happened. So do you think that this was justified, having his key to the city rescinded in light of that particular video?
Yes, I do. I think that it was a good move. It was a good PR move. My biggest problem with all of this is, why did he get one in the first place? And this is my problem with Key to the City honorary degree stuff, because he got his honorary degree from Howard revoked as well. Um, what do these things mean besides publicity at that point? What are you trying to sell me by giving this guy this thing? Like, what was y'all's intent? Because it clearly wasn't based upon this person's character. So these things I find quite interesting, because I think in the grand scheme of things, these institutions or these uh, political bodies that use these celebrities to give honorary degrees is nothing but that. Is just to feed into its publicity, and it's to feed into their current machine for whatever they have going. So I think this is very interesting and very telling, to be honest, because again, what has Diddy Puff or the Diddler, what did he do to contribute to society? And I'm pretty sure that, in the midst of him getting the key, that, they say he donated this or he did that, or, did whatever type of service. But, my major problem with him is his promotion of degenerative lifestyles in his music. And as much as I, appreciate Biggie as a lyricist and the way that he can flow, even for the 90s, man, it's top tier. And as much as I appreciate all of that stuff, once you start getting into the lyrics of some of those songs, like Dead Wrong and Beef, you start amongst others, you start to hear some of these things and songs I used to listen to all the time and go, man, these are some filthy songs. And you have to then put the pieces to the puzzle and see where it all came from. And it came from an influence, like from a man like this. So he also put other songs out there, and just a culture of bad energy that has proliferated throughout the community. So with all of that stuff being said, it kind of offsets and neutralizes whatever he does in the city. Therefore, he shouldn't get a key or an honorary degree. But yet and still, these institutions and political bodies tend to do these things to buy the people. And so, to keep the people bought, because since he's getting canceled, well, they're going to cancel him. And it's just another sleight of hand trick, if you ask me. But what are your thoughts, sir, on New York rescinding the key to the city? P. Diddy no longer balling on top. What you got to say?
Yeah, I hear all of that. Hard to argue it. So I
Mm-hmm.
found this rundown real quick. I did a quick Google search. This is from Quora, and it says receiving the key to the city is a symbolic honor that is typically bestowed upon distinguished visitors, esteemed residents, or individuals who have made significant contributions to a community. The criteria for receiving the key to the city can vary depending on the city and its traditions. Here are some common ways in which individuals might receive the key to the city. Number one, community service. Individuals who have demonstrated a long-standing commitment to community service, volunteerism, or philanthropy may be awarded the key to the city as a way to recognize their contributions. Number two, achievements. Notable achievements in various fields such as sports, arts, academia, or business may also warrant the awarding of the key to the city. Uh, Visiting dignitaries. That's number three. Elected officials, celebrities, or other dignitaries who visit a city may be presented with the key as a gesture of goodwill and appreciation for their visit. Number four, public service. Public officials or employees who have served their city with distinction may be granted the key to the city upon retirement or completion of their term of service. If you are interested in receiving, I mean, that's kind of a general description of it. So
Mm.
I would imagine that on his face, he received this for like community service and achievements. Um, but I agree with you, and it's interesting that you bring that point up because it highlights this interesting relationship between the effect of one's actual body of work juxtaposed to how much you value their service or their philanthropy. Because I'm pretty sure I can look up a long list of philanthropic efforts that he has been at the head of, not just in his hometown, but elsewhere, where his businesses donate money here, give money there. His schools, they create. I think he has a school too. I think. Don't quote me on that. Other things that he does, just from a community standpoint, that are philanthropic. But then when you juxtapose that to the societal impact of his content, it leaves one asking the question, which do you value more in terms of how we, you know, honor, quote unquote, individuals such as him? When I was younger and I thought for myself a little less, I used to say, well, people are smart enough, they can understand the difference. And you can very well give the key to the cities to somebody such as Diddy, despite the fact that he perpetuates certain aspects of human behavior, particularly within the black community, I would say, that are detrimental from a societal standpoint. Not necessarily saying that he is responsible for it, but I do think that he is an agent in that regard. But as I've gotten older, I've realized these things have a more profound impact than even I realized when I was growing up, and I thought that it was just entertainment. It's clearly not just entertainment. I mean, at this point, anybody who thinks that this stuff is just entertainment, I feel like you're being naive, in an effort to sort of take the air out of the ball with respect to the idea that these people should not be held to account for some of the impacts on the society that they do actually have. So I do think that he has a profound impact. Unfortunately, that interesting juxtaposition of his content with his philanthropy isn't the reason why his key to the city was rescinded. His key to the city was rescinded because this is bad PR. That video is bad PR. And as I've said on this channel many times before, um, political people and corporations are always going to make sure that they give the appearance that they're on the right side of history. And you have to be on the right side of history when it comes to certain things like racism, bigotry, assault. You have to be on the right side of history when it comes to those things, and it can actually help them. So even though this is an unfortunate situation that happened to Diddy Puff, because now they're having to take the key to the city back in a roundabout way, this is actually something that helps the mayor because it makes him look good. It makes him look like he's on the right side of history. So in a weird, perverse kind of way, these sorts of negative stories do tend to benefit anyone who can take advantage of them in order to make themselves look like they're on the right side of history in terms of the public. So I agree with the key being rescinded because um, it needs to happen. But I also hear what you're saying. The key was initially granted to him despite the profound effect that the apparatus of the music industry, which he was a part of and he was one of the purveyors of, having such a profound impact on the society at large anyway. So one of these days, I want to see a standard be maintained that an individual's body of work and their content needs to also factor into whether they are bestowed such an award. Put the bar up there because I think you're going to see a lot of these people who are receiving these awards no longer be qualified because no matter how much money they donate or how philanthropic they are, they're still selling turkeys on Thanksgiving in the same neighborhoods that they're selling poison to. So I think it's an interesting nexus with which to observe this, but like you, I would agree. They needed to take it away, if for no other reason than to look like they're on the right side of history. I just want to see the bar get raised so that actual body of work with respect to your profession gets taken into account. Because had that happened, I'm inclined to think that he wouldn't have gotten it in the first place.
Well, and see, that's my thing. you and I, and I'll just speak for myself mainly, is, I'm a regular person. I'm a regular guy. And I would have looked at this guy's application of getting the key to the city as a joke. And I would have said, yeah, I'm not gonna be standing on stage shaking your hand and making heart symbols with you. Uh, get out of here, bro. But um, because again, I can look at this guy objectively and know the type of sludge that he put in our community outside of the nice little donations and other things that he may have done. So this is me as a regular common person, not some, you know, educated
Right.
mayor.
Right.
Yeah, black representing the black diaspora. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm just a regular dude. So if he's all of those things, he should be able to see that giving a guy like Diddy a key to the city is actually a joke. And he would have laughed in his face, much like I would have. But since that's what I'm saying, you got to ask yourself, what are these people actually doing, and what's really behind why they're doing these things. And so, yeah, good PR on the front end. All the young people can look at this and say, hey, this mayor's cool. He's down. He's one of us. He's giving, you know what I'm saying? He's giving them a key. And now, since with all of the stuff, because allegations, swirling around, let that be damned. But now they actually have physical evidence of him actually being physical. So now they're gonna go, back up. And so I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more people that start to strip things away from this guy for PR purposes, much like how they only did business with him initially was for good PR. So funny situation here. Not funny that Cassie got abused here, but funny and just ironic that these people that parade around, and I'm specifically talking about the mayor or whatever, that parade around and say that they're for the people, but then they give people who poison the people a platform. So something needs to change, and it needs to be the way that these politicians run things. But we'll see if that ever happens. But so long as the people on the bottom, the grassroots, can understand and see this for themselves, we don't have to buy into their little games that they're playing, because clearly this is all game. But yeah, man, shouts out to Cassie, man. Just blowing the lid on all of this stuff. Yeah, man, I'm here for it, bro. Like, this needed to happen. As I mentioned before, this tumor needed to get out of the body of hip hop, man. And
Yeah.
and so now everything that's associated with him also has that tag, and I'm glad about that. So
Yeah, I just the criteria to me is just like all of that stuff that I read before us, to kind of give context to the criteria for how they give this stuff out. All of that stuff sounds good, but I feel like it just boils down to like philanthropy. When it comes to an individual like him, he probably donates,
mm-hmm.
his businesses employ people. It's
Mm-hmm.
a philanthropic, capitalistic type deal. And so it's just, how do you rise above the ever present, you know, um, the ever present allure of the money aspect of it, of the capitalistic aspect of it? Because if you strip all of that away and you really focus on his content and his body of work, what is it that when you marry it with those criteria says this person deserves to be bestowed such an honor? It kind of doesn't make sense. It's like it's literally like giving Frank Lucas or Nicky Barnes key to the city. They
Right.
were giving money, they were donating and doing all kinds of stuff too, but to what end? Like, at what cost? So I just think at the end of the day, we just don't care about this stuff the way that we claim that we do. And you mentioned how the layman is at a grassroots level, you know, being a part of no longer allowing stuff like this to fly. I don't know how true that is, man. I just kind of feel like these people in these hip hop seats and these athlete seats are being deified more now than they were when we were coming up, and they're being given all kinds of passes. Now, granted, they can also be stripped down much faster now than they could before,
Boy,
because one little slip up, one little video, one little thing goes viral, you're done.
mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting dynamic to see play out, because they're deified more, but then they also can be ripped to shreds faster. So I guess I'll take that trade off. But at the end of the day, we just need to raise the standard because right now we just don't care. Like we're just, I don't know, man. At my old crotchety age, I've gotten to the point where I can't listen to the words coming out of these guys' mouths in their music, but then see them parade around as pure than heart, upstanding citizens. And I don't know, it's just weird to me. I can't. I've gotten to the point where I can't separate the two. Like I can't. And I know that we used to say like you separate art from life, and an artist does this, but you kind of have to make that separation in terms of like real life. And I would be all for it if it weren't for the propagation of the music as real life and not art. That's where you lose me because, and we talked about this when Fat Joe went on CNN and mentioned how he lies in 95% of his rhymes. Okay, well, if we got rappers talking about how they lie in 95% of their rhymes, why are we allowing the music industry to sell us on the idea that these individuals are being real and authentic in their music instead of just understanding that they are merely entertainers? Like we should all be listening to these people the same way that we go to the movies and watch a movie and we know that it's fake. It's a suspension of belief. Like unless it's like based on a true story or a documentary, we know that it's fiction. The music is fiction too. So if we still maintain that separation, I would be on board with this idea that you separate art from life. But we have seemingly bought into this idea that there is no separation. These dudes are telling the truth. This is what they really are about. Okay, well then if we believe that and this is what they really are about, then we have to take them at their word that this is the truth that they're living. And if this is the truth that they're living, I don't necessarily think that it is becoming upon us to bestow them such honors as keys to cities. But I also think that generally across the board, standards for everything have declined. And this is just a part of that general notion that standards across the board are declining, unfortunately. But at least we can take this one back. Even though it was due to a viral video, we can take it back and just let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, man. Last thing I'll say is and you remember that Chappelle joke, bro? When Chappelle said, I think he was like at Disney World or whatever.
Mickey
And
Mouse. Yeah.
yeah, Mickey Mouse was like, "Whoa, I'm Rick James, bitch." And it's just like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I'm here with my family, bro. People not so long as that joke stays true, because that speaks to an overarching thing that celebrities got to deal with, or people that went viral got to deal with. I just saw a TikTok earlier today where they were showing like viral clips from 2013 and how these people look now, and then whatever, and forever in a whole bunch of people's minds, that person is going to be that person that did that meme. They're nothing beyond that. And so whenever they meet somebody, they're going to come to that person and say, hey, whoop de whoop. Hey man, we're still recording live, man. This is kind of like how they do it in the what do you call that? The nightcap uh with Shay Shay. But yeah, man, so I'm sitting here looking at the clip and the shit crazy. Man, that shit threw me off, man. I love my whole train of thought, man. I'm gonna throw this one on the blooper reel. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. So like the Chappelle joke and all that stuff. So as the Chappelle joke goes, so long as people watch the stuff and forever, because I still call Carlton Carlton. We just had a topic the other week, and I'm still calling Carlton Carlton. And I know that he's his own man, but I'm not gonna not call him Carlton. So, Morpheus from the Matrix, I'm pretty sure that, people just deal with stuff like that. So long as those type of things is going on, there's going to forever be a celebrity worship, celebrity, you name it, type of thing going on. So, yeah, man. But let us know down in the comment section, man. I'm pretty sure JV Wins is going to log back in, be like, damn, fool, what happened? I'm like, bro, I don't even know. And most likely we're going to wrap it up again. But you know what I'm saying? We're taking all bets here. What do you guys think here in the comment section about Sir Diddler? Do you guys think that it's fair that he got his key revoked? Uh, Me personally, um, I shouldn't find this much humor in this guy's um, diddling. But I gotta be honest. It's been a long time coming. Hey, there he goes.
I
Jay,
don't know. I don't know if that was the internet or what. I don't know what happened there.
hey man. Hey, listen, I was holding down the fort doing a little Q&A with the crowd.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but yeah, man. No, I was just wrapping up my point, man. That's all. But just basically saying, dog, like, hey, man. So long as that Chappelle joke stays true, uh, people are forever going to be doing this celebrity worship, holding people up to a pedestal they don't belong on, type of thing. And so long as that's a thing, you can always sell them something with those people.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you please not call me a bitch in front of my kids? Time out. Can we take a day off? To this day, that is my all-time favorite stand-up. To this
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
To this day. Yeah, maybe one day we'll begin to hold these individuals accountable for their actual work and not have it both ways. But until then, no more keys for the diddler. Oh
You got it.
man.
You right it, there, Dittler. You
Yeah.
done.
All right. What we got up next here? Okay, next up we got Cardi B, who uh has some uh she's cautious. What's the word I'm trying to look for? She's trepidatious.
Mm.
She is experiencing trepidation over the idea that men ages 18 to 26 are automatically registered for the United States military draft. Now, I didn't know this was a thing. Did you know this was a thing?
It just started, dog.
That's crazy. I didn't know that this was a thing. So apparently, for anyone who is not aware, um, there was a congressional bill that was recently passed, which automatically registers men between the ages of 18 and 26 for military service. So I
Sure.
didn't know that this was something that was taking place. But the reason why we're talking about it here on Conscious Approach is because Cardi B has some thoughts on that. So
Uh,
first, first, here is a little bit of context, real quick. So this says Cardi B is worried for Gen Z men after Congress looks to bring back the draft. Cardi B is one of the rap world's most frequent political commentators, and while she's no White House correspondent, her point of view is always an interesting one. Moreover, she recently commented on a past congressional bill that, to summarize, automatically registers men between the ages of 18 and 26 for the military draft. The Bronx FemC made a comment about the current generation's capacity for war and how there seems to be a disconnect between the crowd that the draft pulled from back in the day and the pool of men that exists now. Whether or not this difference is accurate is another debate, but the important argument of her message is that folks aren't as ready to fight anymore, in her view. So we'll go ahead and actually play what she said. So, or rather, I don't know if this is all of what she said, but it's the gist of it. It's the gist of it. So here are her comments on this proposed 18 to 26, you know, automatic registration.
So I just read an article saying that the House just passed a bill that they're going to automatically register men from 18 to 26 for war. Okay? And all I want to say is to America, good luck with that. These new little niggas are TikTokers, baby. These motherfuckers ain't going to fight no war. We going to die. You going to die. You might as well just keep motherfucking investing money in your guns, because these new kids, you want to send these new kids to fight these wars? The TikTok fucking hip shakers, out of your mind. This is a new America, baby. This ain't the 19 motherfucking. Nah, like seriously, you gonna draft these kids that be TikToking all day to fight them? What? Most likely, what? Them Russians? Them motherfuckers that be fighting bears and shit, and motherfucking climbing mountains to go to school and whatever.
Climbing mountains, bro.
I got some news for you, motherfuckers.
Uh,
All right, so she don't think it's gonna work. Basically saying that we dealing with we soft. We dealing with this soft generation. These TikTokers, they ain't ready. They ain't about that life. Um, I don't think she's off. But what do you think? What do you think about what she said there?
I think she's also correct, but you need bodies, bro. So you need bodies, bro. If you're gonna have a military, you're gonna need people. Uh, that's just what it is at this point. Now, the military is extremely advanced, so highly technological, and that's for good reason. And combat and warfare has really left the war field, and it's really gone digital. And even with some of these mechanisms and things, it's a lot of it's done by machinery. You do need people to man those things, and they don't need to know how to wield an axe. You know what I'm saying? They just know how to need to push buttons and take orders. And these young people can do that. If the military was still hand to hand combat and all the other stuff, which it is to a degree, but if it's really about that, then we would have been. Trust me, the United States would have been making sure that that was a thing. But I think what is going on now is that the battlefield has changed. Now you can say that there's people still on the ground and stuff like that, but to me that's nothing but glorified money laundering and paying for equipment and paying for all this other stuff and doing other types of things that you don't necessarily have to do, especially when you can do drone strikes. You can just clear out a whole bunch of people. So they still do these hand-to-hand combat things, and I think that's for monetary gain and other reasons. But to answer it overall, yeah, aesthetically it does sound like going to regular warfare and then asking kids that play Fortnite all day to go out there and actually go out there and hold an AK-47. That's a tall task. But nowadays you only need to know how to push buttons. There's other forms of warfare that go on, but they do need bodies and they do need people that know how to use these things. So yeah, they're going to need people on call for these types of trainings. So what are your thoughts, sir? Those just the initial. What are your thoughts on Cardi B saying that the United States is cooked? What are your thoughts?
Uh, I mean, it can't be a good thing if we have an entire just full on crop of men who are of the age who have no sort of sensibilities with respect to being able to be put in those situations. It's got to be helpful. The way I look at it is like this. Okay, so if it's all going digital and if it's all about machinery, which I do, I don't think that that's wrong, then is it like that worldwide? Because I'd say that advantage is to whichever nation is able to, fully proliferate the technology age, but also supply their military crop with people who are about that life. So that's my only point of contention is, where is the advantage? I think she's speaking. I think she is speaking to the general softness that is going on out here. I think that's what she's speaking to, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
I hear what you're saying and I agree. But here's the thing about about that point about technology and drone strikes and all of that kind of stuff. You do need, like you said, you do need people who have the expertise to operate this stuff. So these little techie guys, the tech wizards, and the people coming up in this tech age who are becoming savvy with these various technologies, you do have more people with the brain capacity to learn these various faculties. So you can put them in intelligence in the Air Force and and they can learn how to operate these various pieces of technology much more quickly than in previous generations.
Mhm.
So that's an advantage. But generally speaking, the softness overall, I do think is of concern. Because, like, there's probably more, and I don't know this for sure. I'm just guessing here. And
Mhm.
maybe this is my own personal bias, but I'm willing to bet that at this point in America, at least, amongst men ages 18 to 26, there's probably more guys who are savvy and wizards with TikTok and Instagram than there are guys who know how to grab a fishing pole and go fishing. There's probably more guys who know who can work their way around TikTok with the best of them, but couldn't build a fire. They don't know how to make a makeshift, shelter if they were out in the wilderness somewhere. They do not know how to shoot a bow and arrow. They don't know how to create a spear with a stick. Like, what if you needed to live off the land? What if you needed to actually survive? Because some of these pleasantries in life were taken away from you. Maybe we won't ever get to that point. Who knows? But I think having those skills are invaluable in terms of being able to be a survivor and be a fighter. And I do think right now we got this overwhelming degree of softness going on where no one really has any of these tangible, valuable skills. And it's all about what I can get with my Uber Eats and my and what's available through at the touch of my phone. Um, no one really knows how to do any of these things anymore. These skills have kind of been lost, shrouded throughout the course of history. And I understand that over time, technology sort of mandates that people no longer need to have those skills until you are in a situation where you need to have those skills. Then you're going to wish you had them. So will we ever get to that point? I don't know. And will we ever, are we at the point where it generally is concerning because these guys are more of a TikTok wizard than they are somebody who can pick up an M16? Perhaps we aren't at that point, and maybe we won't ever get there. Who knows? But I think when put in that position, you're going to wish that you had those skills. And I do think that her undertone of just, well, at least this is how I interpreted what she said. I interpreted what she said as there's a lot of softness that needs to be course corrected, or rather, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of softness that needs to be course corrected. So, um, the proverbial bubble upon which that softness is going to burst, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know in what form. I don't know if maybe it's a natural disaster. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's a technology blackout. Who I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not speculating. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but in whatever form it does happen, which necessitates one's need to be able to confront their skills in those areas or lack thereof, you're going to wish you had it. And there are more of us nowadays who don't have them than do. So that's kind of what I took from what she had to say. Um, you know, uh, Dudes need to man up, but we talk about this stuff in various other contexts on this channel often. So this is nothing new, obviously. But I don't know. Go to Outdoor World, start with getting you a nice fishing pole, use that YouTube, learn how to cast a line out there, re-spool your rod, difference between live bait and real bait. I know I'm just spitballing here at this point, but survivor skills, there's nothing wrong with having them. And I think the more you have people who don't have them, the more vulnerable your population is. So I don't think vulnerability is a good thing for anybody, especially these days.
I agree, man, and because I do also agree that the overall sentiment of it was just talking about the softness that's going on nowadays, um, which also translates to today's NBA. But damn, but still, it's just an overall softness. But here's my take with that. Um, it's not their fault. It's not these people's fault, man. These people just coming up in this stuff. And a large amount of it has to do with the food. A large amount of it also has to do with the programming that these people have been getting since they were young people. whether it's social or um, through education or whatever, religion. There's a lot of contributing factors that play into the emasculation of men. I mean, every TV show right now has a woman main character whooping ass and bumbling idiots as men. Every movie, every TV show, it's not failing right at this point. It's happening every turn, and this is again a form of putting men in their place, in a sense where men are not being men anymore, and they're letting women lead in all of these roles in TV shows, and they call it like empowerment and all this other stuff. And look, I'm all for diversity, whatever, and inclusion, but at this point, it's like a 90% ratio that women are the lead characters now whooping ass.
Yeah, well, because it's,
125.
yeah, it's because the idea is y'all have had the pole position for so long. Now it's our turn. That's the idea.
Whatever idea they want to, whatever web they want to spin. Listen, again, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a 50-50 split at least. I mean, hell, it's like I said, it's about 80-90% in the favor of bumbling idiots as men, or men doing essay, or men doing something crazy, and then the women having to save the day. Being smarter than the men. It's happening all over the place. And this is taking a toll on the people. I know it is. I know that the food out there is taking a toll on people. There's so much soy in everything. I just saw something the other day where they were just saying basically vegetable oil is just soybean oil. And if anybody knows what soy does, it's basically synthetic estrogen. And so when guys are out here taking all this synthetic estrogen, they're doing all this, eating stuff with plastics with estrogen in it, it combats with the testosterone. Then they got all these things going on where they have all of these free adult sites out there. So they're doing those things. It's an amalgamation of things. It's a whole bunch, an arbitrage. Take your pick. There's all types of things happening. And so with all of these various components going at play, these young men don't stand a chance. The only thing they did was grow up and follow instructions. Okay, I eat this. Yeah, it's got plastic in it, but you don't know that that's estrogen. Can I eat this fried chicken? Yeah, it's fried in estrogen, but you can eat it because you don't know no better. You watch a TV show, it just go down the line. Next thing you know, he grows up 18, soft as dough, and Cardi B's making fun of him. So my thing is that what's going on is not these people's fault. What needs to happen is the adults, that people that can see, and people that's old enough to that can actually do something about change in the future need to say something. This stuff is not okay. And now we have enough empirical data to see that this stuff really messed people up. So much so that Cardi B is speaking like a philosopher. So something needs to happen. So I agree with her. I agree with you, man. But my whole thing is that these young men, this is by design. It's not so much so, or negligence. Take your pick, But either way, having knowledge of it, something needs to be done about it. And throwing stones at these young men who are too weak enough to catch it, it's not going to help the situation. So we need to make sure that the next generation of kids don't get caught up in this mess. I get off the soapbox.
Yeah, no, it's all facts. I think capitalism is the reason for it. Make everything artificial, make everything synthetic. It's all a means to be able to mass produce things and maximize profit. Like that's the general aim behind most advancements when it comes to capitalism, is being able to provide the same good and service, even though it's not exactly the same, but being able to maximize profit by increasing efficiency and the time it takes to produce it. So I think throw capitalism in there with all the rest of the stuff that you factored in with it. I think capitalism is at the head in terms of the reason for it all. But I'm not necessarily saying that men ages 18 to 26 are soft on purpose. But I will say that they need to stop being. We need to curb the softness. I do believe that. But yeah, it's an awareness thing. I'm not saying that they are responsible for it, but it's an awareness thing. And like I said before, you never know what you wish you knew, if put in a vulnerable position, until you get into said vulnerable position. And it's very easy to be comforted into believing that said vulnerable position will never come until it does. And I'm like I'm saying, I don't know what said vulnerable position looks like. I don't know what that looks like, but in whatever form it looks like, it can even be something as trivial as nuclear families. We're seeing the eradication of those, right? Okay, so I believe that the eradication of nuclear families is a human vulnerability, in my opinion. So if that's a vulnerability, it takes awareness of understanding why some of these things are happening, and understanding that you don't have to believe that it's just a natural progression of things and it's okay. Like I've said before, like just because something is new and current doesn't mean that it's better or supposed to happen. Like we've gotten to this point where we're conflating modernism and newness with better and what's supposed to happen and what's okay. Some of the sensibilities that some of the sensibilities that we used to cling to in previous eras and generations, made more sense. But you don't have to go along with the idea that you have to be okay with it because it's happening now. Like that, it's the same comment that I made about parenting. Like, you don't have to ride with this idea that you have to let your kids be on TikTok when they're 12 years old. If you know that there's something wrong with that, be a parent them, and don't let it happen. Who gives a damn what, you know, some random podcaster or TV program is telling you should be doing? Like, screw them. Who cares what they have to say? All of that stuff is contributing to this softness. It's not one sole factor, it's a multitude of things. But at the end of the day, when you become vulnerable or when you're put in said vulnerable position, there are certain skills you're going to wish you had. And if you don't have them, I don't think vulnerable populations are helpful to anybody. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is the most coddled group of people that we've seen hit the market, and it's showing. And the ones up under that are even worse, from what I hear. I mean, even the 18 and the 26-year-olds are complaining about these, 9 to 13-year-olds that's coming up. They're just saying those kids are off the wall. It's like, come on, y'all are complaining, but apparently, bro, these new kids are the brain rot kids. So we're gonna see,
That's
like,
that's
yeah,
a bold
man.
statement. That's saying something. That's saying something.
Boy, man. I was
Wow.
like, are y'all gonna be the professionals taking care of me when I'm you know what I'm saying? And
Nah, I'll
I'll
take
be that, and I'll throw my Fifi's bag right at your ass too.
Hey man, I'll take the AI. I'll take the AI robot. Give me the, give me the AI robot as my nurse,
Yeah,
because this stuff out here is crazy. Oh, shouts out to Cardi B, friend of the channel.
yeah.
And now we have a Chris Brown story. This is an interesting one. So Chris Brown is currently on tour, and a part of Chris Brown's tour is he offers fans an opportunity for a meet and greet.
Nice.
Now, Chris Brown's meet and greets are, um, they're $1,000 a person or $1,500 a person. There's something like that. Um, I saw the amount in a previous article, but I don't remember. But there's an actual dollar figure that's attached to it. It's either $1,000 or $1,500. But if you pay this amount of money, you get the ability to be a part of a meet and greet with Chris Brown after the show, where you get you get a picture with him. Y'all get to have a short little conversation. It's a meet and greet. We all know what a meet and greet is. But apparently, this particular story involving a meet and greet with Chris Brown went viral because a guy ended his relationship with a girl who paid for a meet and greet with Chris Brown because he felt as though the photos involving her and Chris Brown were a little too close for comfort. He was uncomfortable with how these things looked. And so in the wake of her having a meet and greet with Chris Breezy, he said, "You know what? We're done. Our relationship is over. I don't like the way you did that meet and greet with Chris Brown." So we got Chris Brown doing an unintentional Usher impression here. Um, so this says Chris Brown fan claims a viral meet and greet photo calls her boyfriend to break up with her. Chris Brown, whether you like it or not, has been a heartthrob throughout his career. Even with the Rihanna fiasco, there are still some female fans that obsess over him. He does have a lot of attractive qualities and remains to be one of the biggest names in music. It is pretty clear that he is not going anywhere anytime soon. We say all of this because a recent image has gone viral and was supposedly the nail in the coffin for a former couple. According to the Neighborhood Talk, a female Chris Brown fan nabbed a Columbus, Ohio meet and greet photo with the singer. After showing it to her boyfriend at the time, their relationship lasted just another 7 days. Literally, after my photo went viral, my boyfriend broke up with me about a week later after arguing because he felt Chris was too close to me, she said. While it was most likely a tough pill to swallow for the woman, she would have taken that opportunity to meet Breezy again and again. I would trade my ex to meet Chris Brown 100 times over. So definitely, really, really worth it. Uh, so I think I can play this here. There's actually an impromptu interview with this person explaining this situation.
Which meet and greet did you have? This was from
This is from Columbus.
Columbus.
Yep. Literally, after my picture went viral, my boyfriend broke up with me about a week later after arguing because he felt like Chris was too close on me. I'm just like, it's one of the most respectable pictures. It wasn't like I was bending over grabbing my ankles. But I prayed my ex for meeting Chris Brown 100 more times. So definitely, really, really right there.
Wow.
All right. A lot of fans in the comments section were showing support for the woman in this instance, claiming the guy was just trying to find an out. He was cheating and wanted to find a reason to argue with, one user believes. If that's all it took, he was going to break up with you anyway, sis. Count your blessings. Another adds, while no one knows how unsteady their relationship was, it seems clear that them going their separate ways was the best solution. So, of course, the Peanut Gallery has plenty to say about this situation.
Of course.
What do you think? You think Buddy was right and justified in breaking up with her? What do you make of her saying she'd do it 100 times over, even if it meant that her and her ex breaks up? It's worth it.
I think he made the right decision at that point. Especially if she says she's willing to just throw him to the trash, so why wouldn't he be making the right decision at this point? I appreciate bro standing on business on this. Hey, listen, this is bot behavior, bro. This is thought behavior. I mean, I looked at this photo and I was like, I've seen Chris Brown do worse. But if this was my old lady and I'm seeing her, bagging it up like that, you know what I'm saying? Just looking vulnerable for it. I'm like, another man's doing this to you? And you gonna sit here and show me this? Like this is what's up. Oh, so you must think I'm a fool. And so, yeah, bro, she for the streets. And so, bro recognized that, stood on business, and sent her on her merry way. And for, as you mentioned, the Peanut Gallery, sitting there, with their comments, hey, man, my blood started to boil. I had to remind myself who was actually making these comments, all right? And these are other women that will probably do the same thing. Just throw their whole relationship away just for a hug with Chris Brown. This whole thing, man, once you see, like, let's say if you're dealing with a woman and she's for the streets, you don't know that yet. You know what I'm saying? You just getting to know her. She's giving you all the sob stories. You know what I'm saying? You're not really buying it, but you're just going with the flow. But you still don't have any evidence that she's for the streets. Push come to shove down the line, something's going to show its hand that, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? She might be for everybody, bro. And this photo here, in my opinion, because once I saw how close they were, Now mind you, this is just Chris Brown getting a check, bro. You know what I'm saying? He like, hey, I get to get paid and fill up on these females. It's a win-win for this dude. this guy's crushing it. So he don't care, but he getting up in there, and she's like, yeah, she wants all of it. And if this is my old lady smiling that hard, this is a smile beyond a smile. So I'm like, nah, this shows me that, given the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? She'll let old boy do that. And if she'll let Chris Brown do that, she might let anybody else she has a crush on do that. It's just not clean, bro. And last thing I'll say is that there's a lot of women that have their celebrity crushes, then they wouldn't do stuff like this. They'll admire from afar. They know it's not realistic. They know that they're in a situation. They wouldn't put it in jeopardy. But then there's some women that'll risk it all. And this is clearly that's a woman that's willing to risk it all for this. So she might risk it all at work. So man, let her go back outside, man. That's where she wanted to be at. And I agree. And she confirmed his rejection by saying that she would have dropped him anyway just to keep on meeting him. So what are your thoughts, sir, on homegirl here losing her whole relationship just for a picture with Chris Brown? Was it all worth it?
It was when she said, let me read that one more time here so that I can get the quote right. It was when she said, I would trade my ex to meet Chris Brown 100 times over. So definitely, really, really worth it. It was when she said that. That was the part that kind of threw me off. So here's my thing with this. Me personally, I'm gonna be consistent. When we talked about Keke Palmer and that whole situation with Usher, I was saying that if I know that if I'm very confident and secure in my belief that I'm holding this down, I'm not going to be threatened by Usher. That's just my personal take on this. Now, again, certain things are understood. Like, I'm not talking about I just met you and we've been dating for a few months. We got to be solid going on a decent period of time, 1-2 years plus. If we've been together 1-2 years plus, we've established that foundation, and I know I'm holding it down, I'm not threatened by you going to an Usher residency show. Go ahead. If he wants to pull you up on stage and make you a part of his act, whatever. Go ahead and do it. I'm not threatened by Usher. We've been in this 1-2 years strong. I know I'm holding it down. I'm not tripping off that. I know you coming back here. But my thing is, my woman, who I'm not threatened by Usher going to a show over, is not going to feel as though she would trade me 100 times over for an Usher meet and greet. So the fact that she said that tells me, or rather, it informs me on her mindset. I'll read it again, right? She said, I would trade my ex to meet Chris Brown 100 times over. So definitely, really, really worth it. If she's of the mindset that she would trade her ex to meet Chris Brown 100 times over, and this is where I'm going to come at bro and say, this is your fault, bro. Damn. In my opinion, a woman who says things like that is a woman who lives by that code. And if she lives by that code, she has exhibited those characteristics on multiple occasions. This is not the first time that you've encountered this. She lives by this mantra. She'll trade you for a meet and greet with any of her favorite hip hop stars, rappers, athletes, whomever. She's one of these chicks, as you like to say, for the streets. You like to use that phrase. That's fine. So my thing is, people show their true colors at some point, and it doesn't take long. Like, the truth always reveals itself. I don't know how long they've been talking, but if they were talking for any modicum of time, 6 months, 9 months, a year, you've been seeing these tendencies pop up in certain capacities throughout the time that you've been with her. You already knew she was kind of about that life. You knew she had that in her. She feels like she'll trade you for a chance to meet him 100 times over, and it was worth it. So you already knew that she had those tendencies, and you dated her anyway. You got with her anyway. So my thing is, bro, where's your judgment? Like, I get it. If you just met her and you've been hollering at her and y'all been doing your thing, dating casually, getting to know each other for a few months, I'm willing to give you a pass. And see, that's my thing. There are certain additional pieces of information that I would need in order to best inform myself on how I feel about this. She says that there was an ex. X tells me that they were together, which tells me that they were together for an extended period of time. Because if you're just casually dating somebody, you're not going to break up with them and qualify them as your ex if it was just a casual short term thing. I'm applying logic to this situation. So if it was a short term thing and you didn't really know her all that well and you were just kind of feeling this thing out, maybe you didn't get the sense that she was about this life. Okay, fine, bro. I'm willing to give you a pass on that. But if we're dealing with an extended period of time, for her to give that kind of a quote saying that she would trade you for the chance to meet Chris Brown and that it was 100% worth it, if it was an extended period of time, some of this stuff came up in some kind of way at some point in the past, and you chose to ignore it because you still wanted to get with her anyway. At that point, that's on you. So for you to reach your breaking point at this point and decide to break up with her, the only reason why you did that is because you feel publicly embarrassed because the photo went viral. That's how I feel. If the photo didn't go viral and you don't look like a simp type dude, because you are sort of the cuck in this situation because this photo went viral, I feel like you still would be with her. But you decided to put your foot down because the photo went viral. So I kind of levy this responsibility at his feet. Just like I always do, I try to be consistent with these things. I primarily make men responsible because men are the gatekeepers when it comes to relationships. Women may be the gatekeepers when it comes to sex, but men are the gatekeepers when it comes to relationships and marriages. And so for you to have been in a situation in which you are in a relationship with this chick, despite what I feel are clear and obvious signs that she had these sorts of tendencies, to me, that's on you, bro. No woman who is willing to trade their ex to meet their favorite hip hop star 100 times over is going to exhibit those qualities make it so abundantly clear that at any point you can be traded. If you're dealing with the chick who will trade you at any given point, then the egg is on your face for getting with her in the first place. Get with the woman who's not going to make you feel as though you can be traded if given the opportunity to meet her favorite hip hop star. So even though I'm with you and I'm hollering scandalous, scandalous, I'm also looking at bro and I'm saying, huh, bro, this is kind of your fault.
Yeah, and here's my thing with that, and I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, and as you mentioned, it's a timeline. So, if it was early in the thing, because people call anything a relationship nowadays. Situationships, people call them relationships at this point. Then you'll see how often did y'all text? How often did y'all meet? How often did y'all? This wasn't a relationship.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. So it could be one of those, and whatever. Or it could have been something, as you mentioned, long term. Now, if it's something long term, still, man, at some point, now I agree. People going to tip their hands and show you who they are, but at the same time, it's the once people show you who they are, and it's not that bad, you can deal with it. So people choose to deal with it, but what happens is there tends to be variations of this thing that can get more extreme. And so, yes, there were signs, red flags, I'm sure, that showed that she about that street life, or that she can group you out, take your pick. So there's probably signs of that, but hey, man, you know what I'm saying? She giving it up every week. So, I'm gonna keep sliding over here. It's not a big deal. But then, it's a thing where it's like, hey, man, my face attached to, it's so many ways that this can play out to where at the end of the day, I give bro credit for not still simping after this.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I'll give him credit because at some point, the judgment curve for some people have more grace than other people. And who knows the statistics on long-term situations, for people that's been married for 20, 30 plus years, how much grace gets extended in those situations. But at the same time, when you're dealing with modern people right now who look at grace as weakness, look to exploit you. Yeah, at some point when these people do hit some type of threshold, you do have to go at some point that this is a variation that I don't care about, but if you have an extreme to this could be a problem. And so that's why somebody's like, hey man, this guy broke up with a girl for something like this. Hey man, this is a variation of how extreme it can get. And that was my whole point of, giving the opportunity of her meeting for somebody she fans out over. And it don't have to be a celebrity. It could just be the mysterious dude at her job that works second shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog. And this mentality just personifies itself in the Chris Brown picture, but she probably crushes on people a lot. This is probably a behavioral trait. She probably crushed on you in the first place. That's probably how y'all got together.
Probably so.
Yeah, so you got to monitor all of these things, man. And so who knows what this situation is, but from the sounds of it, from her not having any remorse or any regret for this, again, I agree with bro, and I appreciate him for standing on bending, man. And but yeah, I do take your point loud and clear that discernment has to be better in this process out here, so you don't get caught by blindsided by certain things. This may not be too extreme, but would I have broken up over an image like this? I would have put her in her place. How about that? So she just would have went in the for streets category. And if she didn't care for that the behavioral treatment, then she can just kick rocks. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? There's a roster spot for her. She just got to go in the street column. So who knows, man? But best of luck to her and oh boy, man, holding it down. POP, hold it down.
She said it's her ex, so that sounds like they were together.
Amen.
So my thing is, if y'all were together, that's what I'm saying. Like I pay attention. Words to me mean something, so I pay attention to the words. Like the way that this whole thing looks, it looks as though these were two people who were together, and then he broke up with her because of how the photo looks. And so my thing is, she didn't say my boyfriend broke up with me and I'm upset about it and I'm not happy that that happened just because I wanted to meet Chris Brown. She said I would trade my ex 100 times over and because it was worth it.
Yeah.
So that there's no mistaking how she feels in the aftermath of how he feels. She
Right.
don't give a damn.
Right.
So my thing is her not giving a damn. There were to me, in my opinion, because I've dealt with people show you who they are, man, and it doesn't take long for her to say that so strongly. To me, there are clear behavioral signs that she has a tendency to do things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable and less secure about the situation. And she's probably been doing it more. She's probably done such a thing more than once.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so because she's done such a thing more than once, I don't care how subtle it was or how much you were willing to overlook it. If she was your woman and you were dealing with this over an extended period of time, then essentially you were the person giving their dog a T-bone steak and then getting upset when you try to give the dog regular dog food and the dog pisses on the T-bone on the regular dog food because it's gotten used to the T-bone steak. Like you've been feeding this situation T-bone steak for a long time. Now you want to dial it back and say, here's this dog food. No, it's not going to work that way. You established this tone. So you're going to have to pay the price for that. So I personally, in my opinion, based on how she said that, if she seemed a little more remorseful or seemed to be a little more contrite over how it played out, I'd be more willing to give the guy grace. But because she was just flat out like, I'd do this again. I don't give a damn how, I don't care how you feel. You my ex, I'll do it 100 times more to meet Chris Brown. It was so worth it. I'll trade you. She used the word trade. I'll trade you. I'll trade my ex to meet Chris Brown again. It was so worth it. That tells me she been about this, and she showed you she been about this. So if you stayed in that, bro, your fault. Um, Guys need to be more accountable and responsible for the general direction that their romantic lives take themselves. Because more often than not, it is the decisions of these men that create these situations, not the other way around. Women acquiesce to the vibe and the tone and the tenor that men give forth. That's just the natural way that things work out with humans. It is what it is. I'm not trying to be misogynistic or chauvinistic. It is just the truth. Women acquiesce to the vibe that men put out, not the other way around. So if you are allowing these things to persist, she's going to continue to push the envelope. And if you feel as though you were wrong by this situation, you need to exercise better judgment and understand that you have the power to get with the kind of chick who's not going to make you feel some type of way about about trading you in to be in a meet and greet with her favorite hip hop person or R&B star or whomever it is, because those individuals always show you who they are. You just have to believe it and stop ignoring it.
Yeah, man. And last thing I'll say is that there's so much nuance to this. They broke up 7 days later. There was probably conversations about it that grew into arguments. Who knows who's it was probably a situation where bro could have, just stood up for himself and she took offense to that. He probably trying to set boundaries and she took offense to that. And she probably threw some stuff out there like, I'll go see him 100 more times. I mean, I'll trade you 100 times just see him once. She probably said something like that then, which is like, hey, this is enough. So who knows what could have really went down in the when they broke up or what made them break up, because who knows. But all I know is bro dodged bullet with this whole situation here. And because it's just not clean, man. It's not clean overall. And ladies, just be honest, man, because there's this thing that's going on, and I try to have an honest conversation with women, but they just tend to lie to me. But hey, man, yeah, there's some women are out here. Not everybody's getting diddled out here, all right, in Diddy party. There's women out here giving it up to guys that are well known all the time. Now, there tend to be certain particular type of woman. But for the most part, man, whenever I ask a female friend or something like, hey, man, would you know what I'm saying, who's your, celebrity, whatever person, and they'll say they don't have none or whatever. Like, yeah, stop the cap. So then once I see somebody that they actually be looking at, I'm like, all right, what about this person here? You know what I'm saying? Would you know what I'm saying? If you met bro, would it go down like that first quarter? Oh, no. Oh, so you gonna make bro go on a date with you. you think that's what you're gonna do? You think just take my number or take my Instagram like a regular dude? I don't think so, man. I think there's gonna be a lot of women who just jump at the opportunity at that, like these guys often get. So somebody's out here smashing these girls like this. So whenever there's a situation out there and your woman is a woman who's clearly fanning over a dude like that, to me it's uncomfortable. And I'm not even gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? You could be fans of people, but there's a certain way that you could be fans of people. And I think this girl's really a groupie for him like that. And, so who knows? But best of luck to all of them people. Hey, man, this is 2024, man. What are you going to do?
We don't give men enough credit. These dudes be knowing what they know. It's like, bro, if you're the kind of woman, you can tell. Like, it's not as much. We just finished talking about Cardi B and her comments about TikTokers and soft generations and all that. Even the softest of the softest guy can pick up on what a woman is putting down in terms of what she has a tendency to do. It's up to you to decide whether to ignore it or not. Like, if you choose to ignore it because you like, maybe she looks so good you can't pass it up or whatever it is, then at that point, that's on you. My whole thing, my general premise with this is anyone who says that they'll trade their ex to meet their favorite famous person 100 times over because it was worth it, they probably exhibited qualities or characteristics much earlier on that made you wonder whether that was something that was a possibility with them. When you see it, don't sweep it under the rug and make it seem like it's a one-off. No, that's a part of who these people are. And it's not, it ain't hard to tell. Women, men, whomever, people who are not on that stuff, they're not going to give you the vibe that they could potentially be on it. It's simple. It's not that complicated. They're not going to give you the vibe that they could potentially be on it. They just won't. Thus, you won't be questioning whether they're on it or not. They're not going to get on. They're not going to give you that impression. Like these are people, these are women who wouldn't pay for the meet and greet because they don't care about it like that. They don't need to do it that much. So they're not gonna, they'll pay to go to, they'll go to a show because maybe they're a fan, but they ain't gonna pay $1,000 to do a meet and greet. It ain't that serious. They gonna go to the show and then leave and go home. So my thing is understand these various characteristics and don't just ignore them because you think it's no big deal. Because if you continue to think it's no big deal, now you're gonna look kind of silly because your girl went viral with a picture next to Chris Brown and you're super uncomfortable. So I think sometimes we don't give guys enough credit for perceptibility. Y'all be knowing y'all be knowing some of the tendencies of these chicks, and you want to date them anyway because mostly because it's because of how good they look. It's usually a physical thing. Let's be honest. It's usually a looks thing. But it's like, hey man, you see these tendencies, and we all do it. We're all human. I'm not trying to say that we're above this. It's just calling a spade a spade. Like, bro did that. You knew, you maybe not you knew, but depending on that's what I'm saying. Also, there's more context with this. There's more information. Like, how long were they together really? Because, like you said, people are calling anything a relationship these days. But if it was anything long term, a year plus, whatever, and she's talking like that, saying she will trade him to meet him over and over again because it was worth it, you knew what her tendencies were at some point along the way, and you just kept signing up for it. And so I have to hold you responsible for that as a man. That's just my opinion.
Well said.
Oh boy, meet and greets, residencies, Usher and Chris Brown out here
Hey man, how'd you
killing
chick?
the,
How'd you
killing the
chick?
game.
Yeah, man. I ain't playing with these dudes. How'd you chick, bro?
Oh God, haha, your girl. So Dogon's favorite, Ice Spice.
What?
I joke. But Dogon's favorite, Ice Spice. A bit of music news here. Interesting stuff. Apparently, she's lost 25 million monthly Spotify listeners over the course of the last year. Um, Someone who is more acquainted with how streaming numbers translate to dollars and stuff can inform me on what that actually means. That sounds like a lot, but I don't exactly know. I don't exactly fully understand the ecosystem of streaming, so I don't know if that's a big number or not. But 25 million seems like a lot. But this person, I hear about her a lot. I see her in commercials. She's in the Super Bowl booth with Taylor Swift. Apparently, this chick is really popular, even though I couldn't tell you the name of one of her songs, albeit I know who she is. Apparently, has lost 25 million monthly Spotify listeners in a year. So this says Ice Spice had a meteoric rise to fame with her song Munch, which dropped back in 2022. Subsequently, she got co-signs from industry titans, including Drake, Nicki Minaj, and even Taylor Swift. This led to some massive features and placements in pop culture staples like the Barbie movie. Now, however, things have shifted as fans are looking forward to Spice's debut album Y2K. Leading up to this album, the artist has been hit with criticism over the lead singles Think You the Shit Fart and Gimme a Light. For some, these singles simply do not match the quality of her late 2022 and early 2023 output. The new album is set to arrive on July 26, and fans are eager to see how it all plays out. Unfortunately, some are noticing a worrying trend when it comes to the New York artist and her listenership. In the tweet below, it was revealed that since June of last year, Ice Spice has lost a grand total of 25 million monthly Spotify listeners. This time last year, the artist was at 40 million, but now she is just a few 100,000 listeners away from 16 million. Of course, the most obvious explanation for this would be the fact that she hasn't put out a project in quite some time. Many artists see declines in their listenership between album cycles. On the flip side of this, Spice does have two singles out, which some feel is a cause for concern. Whatever the case may be, Y2K could prove to be a make or break moment for the artist. Only time will tell whether or not she delivers. So, this viral person who, I don't know, based on what I see on the internet, she's more famous for her skin tone and her big ass. That's what I'm seeing. Any video that I see of her is because she's shaking her ass in a video. So maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, that's what she's most well known for. But apparently, she makes music, and I'm being sarcastic here. I know she makes music, but also I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, she's lost 25 million listeners monthly, down to 16 million. So, what do you make of this situation? Is this just a normal thing because she's in between album cycles, allegedly, or is this something else? Is this a sign of something else with her?
I think this is just the signs of something else, and the signs of the times that we're dealing with these newer industry plants that we're getting. And I think they're being treated more like 5-cent gum back in the day from the ice cream truck. You know, hella flavorful in the first 30 seconds, but after about a minute and a half, it just turns into hard concrete. And you're questioning why you're still chewing on it 5 minutes later. Like, what is this? And then you just end up spitting it out. So you don't go grab that old piece of chewed up gum back. You just go find the next piece of flavorful gum. So Ice Spice run has already seemed to have ended. That's a steep drop off. I don't care who you are or what you're pumping. 25 million per month. That's a pretty large drop off. And I think that drop off is just due to fatigue of everyone just knowing what the hell she is at this point. As you mentioned, just a walking, shaking ass that's light skinned. And what is her claim to fame? Fecal matter bars. That's pretty much the only thing that I'm aware that she does. I didn't even know she rapped. Once I heard she rapped, I was like, well, what does she rap about? And then I heard her stuff and I was like, well, this isn't very creative at all. So why do people like this? And outside of corporate backing, because let's be real. So her rapping ability got the cosigns of Drake, Taylor Swift. Who else they named? Like, what was it about her?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. What made them coin her the next up? What did she do?
I don't know.
So, besides her being an industry plant, so this is how they normally deal with industry plants. But my thing is the game has just gotten lazy, bro. And they used to do a lot more effort with these things. Now they just roll people out and just make them show up places, I guess. So you'll see her at Coachella. Why? You'll see her at whatever. Wasn't she at or was that Sexy Red at Summer Jam? They just have them just show up.
She may have been there. I know Sexy Red was there, but she may have been there.
Was there, and they just have them show up at these places, like we care. I saw one of her performances. She has zero stage presence. She has nothing. So I kind of feel sad for her. She's really just getting paraded around. And you could tell she's already doing those backdoor scandalous things that we hear that Cassie and them doing. Yeah, so it was like this. We know what she did to get in this position. She knows what's up, So this is a strange situation. So all in all, industry plants need to go away, but they're still going to come out. They're still going to be popular. I thought we were done with this. I thought the people were smart enough to pick up on this stuff. And I think at least for the Ice Spice situation now, I think they picked up on how talentless she is. But initially, man, people was in that wave, and I know dudes was just going crazy about her assets. And what are we doing right now? So yeah, I'm not surprised here. I'm celebrating this, because the game needs these people to go away. So for the people not to be listening to it, I'm here for it. But what are your thoughts on Ice Spice losing 25 million Spotify listeners a month? What's going on?
The optimistic side of me wants to say that this is due to people coming to the realization that enough is enough, and we demand that we be given the privilege of listening to artists who provide quality and substance. The cynical part of me says that that number is going to shoot back up once she
No.
once she once she puts out whatever she's going to put out. Um, and I think the cynical part of me is the right one. I don't know. I've seen enough at this point. I've seen too many of these artists who, to me, she's more of a celebrity personality than a music artist. I don't know any of her songs. And I don't think that's because I'm far removed from current music. I think that's because her music isn't really impactful. I think the combination of her social media persona with her music is what makes her impactful. But you need both of them in order for her to be relevant. One without the other isn't enough. Her music can't stand on its own, and her sex appeal can't stand on its own. So you have to combine both of them. And when you combine both of them, you get this bastardized amalgamation of something parading around as a music artist. Like a barometer for me in terms of an artist, quote unquote, that I should ignore is whether I know her more for non-music stuff than music stuff. And she's one of these people whom I know more for non-music stuff than music stuff. Anytime I see her pop up, it's for something else. Her being in the booth at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift, or this article talking about her streams dropping. Or remember when we talked about Nikki D and how she basically blasted her live performance because it was basically just prostitution rap, which it is. Like this is what she is to me. Like she's just a Barbie doll in real life, and she twerks in her videos, and that's what she's known for. And don't get me wrong, as a red-blooded male American, um, I like twerking just as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that ain't it's not a talent. Like that's
No.
not a talent.
No.
Um, but whenever I see her in any of her videos, if I'm on World Star, anytime an Ice Spice video pops up, it's like Ice Spice said this and she started shaking them yams. Or Ice Spice did this and Ice Spice did this and she twerking. Ice Spice, you know what I'm saying? There was a video where she was in New York and she was up, that like the car that she was in, the truck that she was in, she was like, she had she was over the sunroof of the truck and she was on top of the car twerking. And the video went semi-viral just because she was like twerking on top of a truck. Do not sell that to me as an artist. Don't do that. Like that to me is insulting. And that's what we got going on. Like you're selling this to me as her being a legitimate artist. And then you're going to try and force feed her bad music and you're going to try to masquerade that as actual music. I'm not buying it. But the reason why this is able to continue is because the general standard, in my opinion, of this music from a quality standpoint has deteriorated precipitously to the point where there is almost no standard. It's just all about what's going to get you the clicks and what's going to go viral, what's going to get the likes and the comments, what's going to get your platform buzzing. And so they parade her around as this whatever she is, because the idea isn't to prop her music up. The idea is to prop up her presence as somebody who looks the way she looks and basically is a glorified stripper with a microphone in her hand.
Correct.
And they try to sell it to me as artistry, and I'm not buying it, and I find that incredibly insulting. But it's also one of the reasons why I have separated myself from this music, because you're trying to Jedi mind trick me. You're trying to sell me like, stripper anthems and strippers themselves as music, and I'm not buying it. But I think everyone else buys it. I think the community at large buys it. And that's why I'm cynically saying she'll be back up once she drops more music or does something else to go viral. All she has to do is, perform at a show with no clothes on, and she'll be right back up there. I guarantee it. Like, that's all she needs to do, because that's all the people demand, because the audience has been dumbed down. The industry realized that we can sell you this and dumb it down. They stepped on it. It's blue magic. They stepped on it. Used to be 100% grade A quality stuff, and now they've just stepped on it. They mixed it with, baby powder, baking soda, all kind of other stuff. They put it in the Pyrex. Out comes this thing that they can sell for the same amount of money, even though it's not as good of a quality, and everybody's buying it. If everybody continues to buy it, who are we to stop making it? So if you want if you want them to stop making it, stop buying it. But the community, the population in my community, I mean the hip hop listening community, continues to buy it. So who's the fool? Ice Spice in the industry, or the people who keep buying it?
Well, and last thing I'll say is, and I agree with that, but last thing I'll say is that, I really do think that people are, because I've seen enough stuff out there, at least social media wise, where people were, just calling her in a question, because of those new songs that they did mention in the article, they did come out and they weren't hitting. And then people were critiquing the song, which was throwing me off, because I was like, why do y'all, what are y'all critiquing? Like, what do you thought she was going to come out with a hit? You thought she was going to come out with bars? Like, what do you thought what she was going to do? This girl has zero personality. She, like you said, bro, they parade her around. She just shows up places. And then whenever you see her, she's just standing there motionless. She raps emotionless on stage, but then she turns around to make sure to shake her behind and then go back to rapping emotionlessly, and then turn back around and start twerking again. So yeah, I mean, she knows what her gets her paid. And that's my thing with this. Like, this is such a lazy pick. This is kind of like shout out to Trey Lance, man. But this is like a Trey Lance situation where you draft an archetype of a person, and then you just said, I'm gonna make it work. And what they did was, there's an archetype of a person here who doesn't really act like a real person at all. She just acts like a drone. Like, I've honestly never really even heard her talk. So every time I see her, she just stands around. Now, I've heard her music, because, TikTok gonna make you do that. But even then, I was like, well, why do people like this? So I think there's enough of people asking questions like that. And I think the community at large is becoming more aware of industry plans. And this girl ain't nothing but a cash grab. And they paid big time money for this girl, for all of the places that we are seeing her. She had a Super Bowl with Taylor Swift. She over here doing this. She over there doing that. Like, who is she? Dunkin' Donuts commercials? Like, who are you to be doing this? You know what I'm saying? With Ben Affleck. Was that Ben Affleck? Well, who's she doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
So I'm like, who's paying for this? So this girl didn't make no meteoric rise because she came out with a anthem and labels picked her up. No, labels paid her, and they pumped that hit out for the streets. So they tried to pump out more stuff, and it's not hitting right now. It's hitting like that chewing gum, because people don't want that anymore. So I think that this fall off is a reflection of this. Hopefully, I do believe in the people, and I believe in the resistance against creatures like this. So shouts out to the people, man. Keep driving down those monthly listeners, but make sure you guys subscribe over here, though.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, man. I'm staying
the optimistic side of me hopes you're right, but the cynical side of me says I don't know, but we'll see. I hope you're right. I hope that is the case. I'm not wishing ill upon her career, but there needs to be a standard for Like there needs to be a standard for something. It can't just be that you are a light skinned, curly haired twerker, and that's all you need to be in order to
All you
be
need to be.
successful as a
Hey,
hip hop star.
light
Like,
skins, take note.
yeah,
Take note. Light skins, just start shaking your behind in front of the camera and say you're a rapper. I guarantee you're gonna get a deal.
boy, oh boy, it's crazy, man, crazy. And now we got Jason Tatum, who is kind of getting teased in the aftermath of becoming an NBA champion. Um, the internet, the trolls on the internet, are sort of clowning him for trying to imitate other legends in the game in some of the ways that they celebrated after they won their initial championship. So, obviously, if you're into sports, you know the Boston Celtics won the NBA title last night, which was June the 17th, beating the Dallas Mavericks in a gentleman's sweep, 4-1. The Mavericks only managed to muster one victory in that series, unfortunately. But Jason Tatum is from an ability standpoint, best player on the team at least. And the idea behind this victory for him was vindication because he has a lot of critics, a lot of people questioning whether he's a superstar player, whether he's the best player on his own team, whether he can be the guy who controls a game or controls a series, all of this other stuff. And now he's won his chip, and you can't take that away from him. He is now a champion. But that is not going to stop the internet trolls from taking advantage of an opportunity to make fun of a perceived attempt on his part to sort of channel other great players who won NBA titles before him. So this says Jason Tatum clowned after trying to copy Kanye West, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. Last night, Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics defeated the Dallas Mavericks to secure their 18th NBA title. Overall, it was a joyous occasion for the city of Boston, especially as the team won at home. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown was crowned Finals MVP after some phenomenal performances. Tatum and Brown are one of the NBA's best duos, and on Monday, they showed the world what they are capable of. In fact, this could very well be the making of a dynasty. Unfortunately, in the midst of his great moment, Jason Tatum was being clowned by fans online. As we reported, he was first made fun of for his attempt at recreating the Kobe Bryant Larry O'Brien photo. However, he is now catching more heat as he copied two other legends. Below, you can see that he tried to recreate the infamous Kevin Garnett "Anything is Possible" interview from the 2008 Celtics run. Furthermore, he then copied Kanye West's Grammy speech in which he said, "I guess we'll never know." So here is Tatum doing the "I guess we'll never know" thing.
Oh, brother.
Let me
I know everybody will wonder what would happen if we didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Oh man, what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
Right? Hey, just drop the mic after that.
Oh man. And then this is also this was the people interpreted this as him trying to channel Kevin Garnett after they won.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
Damn, bro.
All right, so then that's that. Responding to the Kanye clip, one person wrote, "Bro got script ready with quotes from all-time greats." Meanwhile, other fans continue to clown on Tatum for seemingly having all of his catchphrases prepared. "Bro, this dude thinks he's on a Disney show," one commenter said. "I really got nothing against Tatum, but everything he does feels forced and corny," wrote another. "For Tatum, none of these comments matter. He is now an NBA champion, and no one can ever take that away from him." So, do you concur with Do you concur with the trolls out there who feels like he's out there putting on an acting job? He's trying to be Kobe, he's trying to be KG, he's trying to be Kanye, and it's just coming off looking kind of fake.
Well, first of all, let me say that Jason Tatum is one of the most dynamic brothers in the game right now. Okay. I respect the brother tremendously. All right. Dribble, tween, hezzy, step back, 3-pointers. One of the best in the game. But the corniness. Hey man, because we've had discussions about the corny things or whatever. Hey, bro, this is what it looked like, dog. I don't know. Listen, those comments summed it up perfectly. Honestly, it's like he's got these things queued up for these moments where, you know what I'm saying, he's just gonna let that fly right there, like it's part of a script. Like the "we did it" thing was so. He was like, "Oh, now's my moment to do something like this, so I can be immortalized in the game." And it's weird, dog. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is. And for the longest, Tatum to me, great young man. Not seriously, he's a great young man. I think when people started to give him all his praise and all his stuff early, I felt like it was a little too premature. I felt like he had the potential to be great, but he ain't there yet. So let's all pump our brakes. Similar to how they're doing with Anthony Edwards. It's the same type of, oh, look at Tatum. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see him play. So me still watching him over the years, I just wasn't sold on the guy. I just felt like he was just really skilled, and that was it. And I felt like this playoff series, this playoffs run, actually, especially with Jaylen Brown winning both MVPs, it really just separated everything in the sense of, okay, that's kind of what I thought, that yeah, this guy's very talented, but he didn't have that impact on the team as whatever. And I say all this stuff to say is that there was always something about him that was just seemed a little a little off. I don't know what to make of it, bro, but you know what I'm saying? They kind of get at Scotty Barnes for being like on the spectrum, bro, but this is some spectrum behavior, bro. In the sense that it's like, how can you be this oblivious to ripping people off? So I don't know, man. The Kanye thing, the mic drop, the we did it. He copied Angel Reese too. Angel Reese had this thing where she said pretty much to the effect of what they gonna do now, what they gonna say now. And Tatum was like, yeah, what they gonna say now? It's like, bro, so you're just quoting everybody. So yeah, man, be your own writer. Nobody likes people who jack people's styles. Just be authentic and be yourself, man. But I think Tatum really struggles with that as a person, just being his own man. And I think these little examples display itself, and internet trolls is gonna call it out. Me personally, I just looked at it and I looked at it and I was like, man, this is kind of not it. I don't want to call another grown man lame, but that's some lame ass stuff, bro. I'm sorry. So, what are your thoughts, man, on Sir Tatum, man? And why do you feel like the streets has so much animosity towards this young man? Can't he just live?
Yeah, they need to leave him alone, man. Oh, like can he have a moratorium that's at least a couple of weeks so that he can enjoy becoming a winner? Like, I don't want to pile on to the guy, Now I will say this: the "we did it" that was cringe.
That's cringe, bro.
The "we did it" thing came out, and I watched that live. I was watching him live when he said it, and it came off to me as cringe. But here's the thing: Jason Tatum might just be somebody who's like socially awkward. We talk about this like I think we've talked about stuff like this on this channel. Like,
Mhm.
I think we have a tendency to believe that these people have it all together because they are professional athletes and they make a lot of money and they have a lot of, financial and social prestige. So I guess everybody thinks that they got it all together. But these dudes don't be having it all together. You know what I'm saying? We like sometimes when some of their dirty laundry gets, not Jason Tatum, but other players that we've talked about, where it's like they're dealing with situations with women airing them out publicly. We talk about Zion Williamson, for example. Like, a lot of these guys don't really have fully developed social skills. So for all we like, that's how I read this. I look at Jason Tatum as somebody who kind of has social atrophy. He probably doesn't really have the best social skills in the world. And when you're somebody who has like kind of a social anxiousness towards you, if you give public speaking remarks or you talk to the media or you speak publicly, it's going to come off awkward and a bit bumpy because that awkwardness just kind of shows itself. So I just kind of feel like it's very, I don't know, it's Russell Wilson esque. It's, it's Russell to me. It's Russell Wilson esque. Like when Russell Wilson signed with the Broncos and he's in he's in the post game press conference talking about Broncos Nation, let's ride. Like
yeah,
that was so cheesy.
yeah.
But the thing is, I think Russell Wilson is a naturally socially awkward, cheesy person. And I think it comes off to people as corny or whatever word you want to use. It comes off as contrived or you're trying to do something on purpose. I'm not going to put that on the man. I think that he might just be a bit lacking in the social skills department. And like, I think when you lack in a particular modicum of social skills, it manifests itself in ways like that. Like people with social anxiety, and I'm not saying Jason Tatum has social anxiety, but like social anxiety has several different symptoms. One of them is like an inability to really kind of normally function in social situations. So like when people experience that, they oftentimes have to sort of sit down and map out and calculate how they're going to behave in certain social situations. Like they really go through those steps. What am I going to say? How am I going to act? How am I going to react? How am I going to answer this question? Like they sort of beforehand figure this thing out because they feel as though that's a measure that they have to take in order to be most comfortable in a situation that they otherwise find extraordinarily uncomfortable. Now, I'm personally choosing to give Jason Tatum the benefit of the doubt that those are some of the mental processes that he goes through. Because, like, otherwise, I'm going to have to jump on the bandwagon with him being lame and corny and kill him. And I just don't want to do that. Like, maybe I'm not in that mood. I just don't want to do that. But it did come off as cringe. Like, the other ones to me are just corny. But the "we did it" one, that came off particularly cringe to me. That came off to me as, I don't really know what to say. I don't have anything to say. So I'm just going to freestyle it right now. And because he's socially awkward, it came off sounding weird. So I think Jason Tatum is no different than a lot of these other professional athletes who grow up in a tunnel. And because they've been playing ball since they were 2 years old, they've never lived a normal life in which they were permitted to develop normal social skills. And just because he's a 6'8", good-looking guy who's really good at basketball, and he has a whole lot of money, and he does commercials, and he has all of these endorsements, and his life is set, that don't mean that he has adequate social skills. Like I think we know we have enough evidence with some of these other pro athletes that we can conclude that you can reach that mountaintop in that regard without necessarily developing adequate social skills. And I kind of feel like Tatum is just one of those people who just doesn't have adequate social skills. And by the way, he's not the only one on his own team that I would qualify as such, but he's the superstar. They put the microphone in front of his face the most. They demand him to talk the most. So we're going to see it come out of him the most. But I just think he's another one of these pro athletes who just his social skills need work. And he might not be required to perfect them because hey man, he's about to sign a $350 million contract. This dude's about to make like what 70-80 million dollars a year. Like he's going to sign the biggest I firmly believe Jason Tatum is going to sign the biggest, richest contract in the history of the NBA in this off season. When you got that much money, you got a bag like that. Who needs social skills? I'm dating LMA. I don't need social skills. So it's not like he's going to be required to develop them. He's always going to be corny. He's probably going to be corny for the rest of his career. And maybe when he retires, he's just not going to be able to go into broadcasting or do media stuff because he doesn't have that natural charisma because he's kind of socially awkward. He's not like Draymond Green who can just do it naturally. And it is what it is. Draymond Green, coincidentally, because I think there's a correlation. You look at somebody like Draymond Green, who is good at this, right? Draymond Green wasn't a superstar. He was more of a grinder. He had to work to get to everything that he got in the NBA. He didn't have the same natural gifts as a Jason Tatum. Draymond Green wasn't 6'7" with a long wingspan and can dribble, pass, and shoot threes. He wasn't naturally gifted in the same way that Tatum is. So he had to grind his way through it and work at stuff. And I think that there's a correlation between somebody who has to grind at it and somebody who also has adequate social skills. And Jason Tatum, just like other people, Zion's the same way, just weird, socially awkward, supremely naturally gifted. And so he sort of has a fast track to superstardom. And when you have that fast track to superstardom because you're supremely naturally gifted, certain things are going to be sacrificed along the way, including social skills. So I just kind of feel like Jason Tatum is socially awkward. But I will admit that those sound bites were pretty cringe. And I just think that we're going to just have to get used to cringe Jason Tatum. The more he talks, the more the cringiness is going to come out because I just kind of think that he doesn't really have the greatest social skills in the world.
I mean, he's not out here attacking anybody or doing anything crazy or, being a wild person. What he does is cringy. He does and says cringy things. And, for somebody out there that's just, for me, that for him to be putting himself in these situations like that, there's a discomfort there. And as you mentioned with social awkwardness, it doesn't have to be there. And that's my problem with this, if you want to call a problem with this, is the fact that people that have that social awkwardness or have this social anxiety or whatever, they don't have to live that way. And just be yourself. And being yourself, it doesn't require, and we talk about being ourselves all the time on this thing anyway. And so I think the thing that I have with these things is when he's out here quoting other people and doing all this stuff, is stand on your own, dog. And be your own man. Yeah, you can be making $70 million a year and not be your own man. Hell, we saw what Diddy was doing and all this other stuff. You can make all the money in the world and still be off, as you mentioned. So yeah, he'll be making money and being corny and awkward on his own, which is fine. But my thing is when people are living, I'm talking about what's your quality of life like? And it's like, yeah, you can have all this money, but what's your quality of life? Because, one would ask that. And if they're not happy enough with themselves and they always got to feel like they got to be in this position to mimic, quote, and do all this other stuff that other people done said and did, then, what's your life about? So, that's pretty much my whole thing about it. It's not a deep indictment. It's not calling him a cornball to dismiss him, to make him a social pariah. It's a situation of, hey, bruh, stand on your own and be your own man and use your own quotes. Pull from your own inspiration. Pull from your own heart in that moment where you're winning the finals. But to sit there and go, I got to say something quotable that's going to go on Disney. We did it. That's corny, bruh. And at that point, you're doing stuff for the weird reasons, not for the genuine reason. That's my thing. So that's my problem with all of this. It just comes off non-authentic. And I'm an authentic dude, and I like authentic people. And I've seen people that make hundreds of millions of dollars that be non-authentic, and I don't jive with them. And I've seen people that made scraps and then there are authentic people, and I jive with them all the way. So I think the reason why Tatum catches so much heat on the internet and gets trolled, because other people won championships and they're not getting trolled on that team. It's like, why Tatum? Why Tatum? It's because he does things like this. Nobody else is doing it. So I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for other people when he's out here clearly doing something that's weird. Not everybody does this. He does this. I can't point to nobody else in the NBA that does this. So he's the one that's doing this, and that's why he's the one that's getting pointed fingers at. He needs to stop doing this. You don't have to do this. Stop quoting other people. Just be yourself, dog, and pull from your own inspirations. But he got to do this thing. He got to wear that. He got to do this and do this, and it's all put on. And that's how he played basketball. It's all put on. Dribble, 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 dribble. And it's just all characteristic sets. So my thing is, if you tap into yourself and be more authentic, be you, Jason Tatum, maybe he'll play basketball better. So, so my thing is, it's not a deep indictment, but I think the reason why he catches so much heat online is because that he comes off, and what we always talk about, being authentic and being your authentic version of yourself, social awkwardness aside, be authentic, bro. And I think he's lacking authenticity. So at least that's my thoughts on this one.
Well, I mean, yeah. At some point, hopefully, he matures and realizes that his corniness is okay. It's a maturation process. I just feel like it's easier said than done. Like, that's a deficiency. So, like, when people have deficiencies in any kind of way, they're going to resort to other things in order to mask those deficiencies.
Yeah.
And so for him and others like him, that social awkwardness is a deficiency. And so those sound bites and everything else that he does is like it's a mechanism that he is utilizing in order to like overcome those deficiencies. To me, I'm not surprised by that, because that's what people do. That's a normal thing that people do. So, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, in his head, he's not saying, "Let me be somebody fake on purpose because my authentic self isn't good enough." I think that he's genuinely just like socially, maybe, I don't know, maybe based upon some of the stuff that I've seen with the way that he does his interviews and when he talks to the media, sometimes it comes across as like contrived, but I think it's literally because there's an awkwardness that he feels, and so that's what he is utilizing in order to try to reconcile the awkwardness. And hopefully he learns how to do it. But this is not unprecedented. Alex Rodriguez was the same way. Even now, now A-Rod has gotten better, but when Alex Rodriguez was an active player and he would talk to the media, it just was always fake. Like, I would never watch A-Rod and think that he was being an actual human. He just seemed like he was just this combination of different things, and he was just a soundbite machine. So I've seen it before, and now A-Rod's retired and he's whatever he is, 40-something or however old he is. He's a little better at it. He seems more like a normal person now than he was when he was an active player. But I just chalk this stuff up to like social awkwardness. I really do. It to me, it's a social skills thing or lack thereof. Tiger sometimes used to give me similar vibes, particularly when he was younger. That's just how some of these people roll. I feel like that's how social awkwardness manifests itself when you're dealing with the media and you're dealing with the fact that when you say stuff, it can be consumed by hundreds of millions of people on, podcasts and ESPN and YouTube and Fox Sports, and everybody can see this, so it's magnified. But he's probably just a socially awkward dude,
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets over it. But I don't want to, I'm going to acknowledge a moratorium on clowning them just because they just won yesterday. I'm gonna give him at least 72 hours, and then maybe I'll jump back on board.
He's gonna do something else cringeworthy later. You're really treating this social awkwardness like mental health. It's like, hey man, he's just socially awkward. Let him let him slide. It's just
No, I'm not
it's like,
saying let them slide. I'm just saying I'm explaining it. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just providing an explanation
oh, okay.
because I do think
I ain't letting it slide.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm providing an explanation because it is something to work on and overcome in order to become the best version of yourself. So I'm not saying just let it go because it is what it is. I'm just trying to provide the explanation. It's just, you know, I don't know if he will overcome it. He may be awkward for the rest of his career. Who
I think
knows?
he's on a
It is
spectrum,
what
bro.
it is.
I think he's on a spectrum, dog. I think he's really on a spectrum, bro. I think that's where we're at with this. I mean, I'm not laughing at that, but I'm just saying I really think that bro is just like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if he was short bus. And that's what I'm saying.
I can't go for that. No, I
Well,
can't
that's
go
what I'm
for that.
saying. That's what I think he's at with this. Because I think the way he acts, you saw how he dropped the mic. We'll play it back, man. So how he dropped the mic, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't know if this guy's all the way there, bro. Like, I just feel like
That's
he's not a hoop.
that's how awkward people do things. Like that's how awkward people are. They are. I'm telling you, that's how they are. They do stuff like that, trying to be cool, trying to be cool. It's like, bro, stop pretending to be cool and just be yourself. But that's how awkward people do. They just are like, you know, they do stuff like that. You know,
Hey,
how can
man.
I act so that I can come across the way I want people to see me? That's what awkward people do.
Yeah,
I'm not excusing it. Hopefully he overcomes it.
yeah. Hey, shout out to Jason Tatum, man. Congratulations, I guess. But as Heat fans, we're still taking credit for making you guys actually play real basketball for a change.
No, they did not play real basketball. They
Well, you know
played
what I
their
mean.
version. They play okay, yeah.
You know what
They
I'm
played
saying.
their version of basketball, and it got it done. They got it done because their roster is just perfect.
And we taught them how to
But
scrap a little bit, man. We taught
yeah,
them how to scrap a little bit.
yeah. Shouts out to Jason Tatum, man. Like and subscribe. And last up, we are going to touch on Camille Winbush. For anyone who isn't a millennial, uh, Camille Winbush is an actress who is best known as the eldest child of on the Bernie Mac show. So like Bernie Mac when during Bernie Mac's stand up, one of the bigger things was talking about how he adopted his sister's children and they're all terrible. So they ended up making a TV series out of that, the Bernie Mac show. And the child who played the oldest of his sister's kids is this actress, Camille Winbush. And Camille Winbush, I haven't heard much from her in terms of acting since the Bernie Mac show, which ended a very long time ago. Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, died in 2008. And that show ended well before he passed away. So she's kind of been out of the spotlight for a very long time. And apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently, in lieu of no longer being in the spotlight, she joined OnlyFans. And now she's kind of explaining she's explaining her mindset behind OnlyFans, because obviously people, a woman joins OnlyFans, there's going to be critics, myself among them, who are going to have something to say about that. And so she's sort of explaining why she joined OnlyFans, or sort of the methodology behind that. So this says Bernie Mac show actress Camille Winbush says she only joined OnlyFans after her residual checks from the show dried up. Camille Winbush's OnlyFans account has been a hot topic for years. The Bernie Mac show actress has faced criticism for her decision to join the platform. Now she's opened up about why her career took this route. People that are outside of the acting world have no place to speak on it, she told Comedy Hype. When people are saying, oh, those Bernie Mac checks must have dried up, I'm like, from a job 20 years ago when I was a 12-year-old, yeah, like, duh. While she noted that she still receives residual checks, she said that they get smaller and smaller every year. You're not making the same amount that you were when the show was current per episode, she continued. 20 years later, those checks are not sustainable for a living. So I'm going to play what she said during this clip. But here are some of the things that she's put out on social media. The trolls are hungry again, so here's some food for thought. I've never been arrested, never been on drugs, don't have any baby daddies. I pay all my taxes. I drink water and mind the business that pays me. If the most scandalous thing strangers can say about me is that I took some sexy pics as an adult and made a couple mil in less than 2 years, I think I'm doing all right as a human in today's society. So that's kind of her defending her position, when it comes to starting her OnlyFans. The 34-year-old announced her OnlyFans account in 2021 on Instagram, writing, "Yes, you heard that right. I have joined OnlyFans, but I'm doing it my way. I'll be saying the things I really want to say, dancing, singing and dancing, and sharing exclusive content." So let's play the clip that was reposted on Neighborhood Talk of her explaining this. So we'll cue this up here. All right, so this is that conversation from Comedy Hype.
Fair use.
All right, where's the clip? I gotta find the clip real quick.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
How has OnlyFans kind of like played in terms of like career wise? Has it like helped sustain you? That was a large part of the energy that I saw people throwing at you, like, oh, you don't need the money, or did she go broke? How do you respond to that criticism?
Okay. Well, people that are outside of the acting world have no place to speak on it. When people are saying, "Oh, those Bernie Mac checks must have dried up," or like from a job 20 years ago when I was a 12-year-old, yeah, like duh.
Because we think the residuals are still coming through though.
I mean, they do, but
it's not.
Listen, if I was on Friends making $1 million an episode, yes, those residual checks would still be very nice. But as time goes on, they get smaller and smaller every year. You're not making the same amount that you were when the show was current per episode.
Right.
So as someone who was just a kid, don't get me wrong, still making good money, but 20 years later, those checks are not sustainable for a living. And with the industry being as fickle as it is, you can't count on any job to last or even to book a job. So over the years, I have done regular 9-to-5s.
Oh, wow.
I owned an ice cream shop for 3 years when I was a teenager.
Wow.
And I funded that with my own money. I taught gymnastics to kids where I was making like $11, $12 an hour. So I've done that.
Wow.
But if I can find a way to make enough to buy a home from the comfort and safety of my own living room, why wouldn't I do that?
Whoa, shit. That escalated.
Whole world. Whole world out here in these streets.
God damn.
Cold world out here in these streets. I'm gonna share the first tab one more time because there is a TikTok that I did want to play real quick. I think this was a TikTok. So yeah, I don't know who this other person is, but this is from this is a post that Camille Wimbush put out about her being on OnlyFans. All right, let me refresh, and then it should play after that.
Yeah, I bet. Craziness. I guess shout out to Camille, I guess, for making
Yeah,
it.
no F's given, I guess. But I didn't even realize she was 34, but that does make sense because that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. It's crazy.
All right, so this should play.
If it don't, to hell. Oh, there.
Demon time. She might start her OnlyFans. She might start her OnlyFans. Start her OnlyFans. Start her OnlyFans. Start her OnlyFans. Oh, that's my shit right there.
Throw that ass back.
Baby, that's my baby.
Well,
so that was that. And then here's the caption on that post. Yes, you heard that right. I have joined OnlyFans, but I'm doing it my way. I'll be saying the things I really want to say, singing and dancing and sharing exclusive content. But don't think it's just for the men. I'm finally dropping the skincare routine. I'll be doing regular live sessions with Q&As, special guests, and more importantly, I'll be able to talk to and connect with you one-on-one. I want to hear from you, so come through. My way equals minimal nudity. So if that's what you're expecting, sorry, not sorry to disappoint.
Minimal nudity? What that mean?
She did make that very clear. Minimal nudity. So if what you're expecting is nudity, don't come over here. So what do you think of what she had to say there? You know, she said the checks dried up. I worked regular jobs. It wasn't cutting it. So why not join OnlyFans? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, she said if she can make the money, you know, from the convenience of her own home to buy a home, you know, why not sell images of your body? I mean, you know, as a guy, I mean, you know, we're different creatures, man. I can't see myself doing that at all. But women do get some type of, you know, some women love the attention for showing themselves, but I still think there's a high level of dignity tied to this stuff. I don't know how these people deal with this on the back end of these things. So, you know, on one hand, she can sit here and say that, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? She's getting her life paid for and all this other stuff, and she's doing minimal nudity. Because again, man, like if you're showing areola or, you know what I'm saying, half a cheek or whatever, man, you out here. You know what I'm saying? I might as well show the whole damn thing. But if there's a situation where you know, you're doing these things for a check, man, that's kind of rough for me to handle. I can't really co-sign that. And this you know, I'm pretty sure you'll probably speak on it, but this really just, you know, just ties into the normalization of it all and just the whole mindset of, you know, what else was I supposed to do? I was like, bro, there was so many other options and avenues you could have went down. And yeah, she said she did this and she said she did that and she worked the, you know, the low paying jobs or whatever, but decided she was just gonna go on OnlyFans and clap ass for a living. It's crazy to me, bro. Now she gonna say that, oh, I'm not doing all of that extreme stuff. You know, I just show my feet or I just show this and I show that, but it's not that big of a deal. And honestly, I really felt like if a woman is going to do OnlyFans, then just do that. And apparently you can still get a bag by just showing your feet and you know, showing a little bit of cheek and not doing all the extra stuff. But I feel as though as soon as this money dries up, because, you know, eventually people going to get tired of your skincare routine. So I don't know if they're going to pay $20 a month to see that. So eventually, at some point, if you really want those big dollars, she won't have to do like Bernie said, man, and get bucket naked, man, and start busting it wide open, bro. But what are your thoughts, man, on Miss Wimbush showing off the bush to get that cash.
What happened to her ice cream shop? She was
And
running
she
a
worked it for
business.
3 years, you
Yeah.
know, and then it
So did it not make money? It was a
apparently
business.
not.
So
Apparently not.
the thing that I'm just dumbfounded by. So in that post that she put out, this looks like it was Twitter. She said, if the most scandalous thing strangers can say about me is that I took some sexy pics as an adult and made a couple mil in less than 2 years, I think I'm doing all right as a human in today's society. I don't know how OnlyFans works in terms of the revenue and all that, but if she made $2 million so she made a couple $1,000,000 in less than 2 years. Who's subscribing to Camille Wish's?
Bro,
Like
I don't
that's
know,
what I'm
dog.
confused. That's what I'm confused by. Who is subscribed to Camille Winbush's OnlyFans that she's able to make that much money?
Right. Hey, listen. Don't ask me, man. I don't know these people. I don't know these people.
Bro, like, who are y'all? Who are y'all? Like, for real, who are y'all? See, I'm not even going to go at her. I'm not going to go at her because honestly, and even though I do hate OnlyFans and I don't respect it, and I don't respect any of the women who use it, I don't respect it. And the reason why I don't respect it is because the barrier to entry is very low. It doesn't require any honing of any proficiency. It doesn't require any sort of true work ethic or building of something over time. All it really requires is for you to have enough gumption to put yourself out there in a capacity that can have you be successful on it. And so from that standpoint, I'm old school. I just don't respect it. Sorry, I just don't respect it. That's my personal opinion. But beyond that, I'm not going to really roast her because this ain't her fault. It's like you said with the foods and all of this, right? When you was talking about it ain't the Gen Zers' fault. They've been fed the foods and the programming. They're growing up in this. It's not their fault. This ain't their fault. Like, this is not Camille Winbush's fault. She's exploiting what I perceive to be a weakness. And so I feel like, well, whatever, as much as I may hate it, if you can exploit a weakness, I can't be like, what can I do? I can't just be so above the fray that I'm going to just say you shouldn't exploit this weakness. I mean, no, go ahead and exploit it. Who are these people who are subscribed to her OnlyFans to the tune of a couple $1 million in less than 2 years? That's my question. Who the hell are y'all out there subscribed to Camille Winbush's OnlyFans? That's what I want to know. Because I don't think she's making that up. I don't think she's making up. She made a couple $1 million in less than 2 years. I don't think she's making that up. No. So, like, if she started her OnlyFans in 2021, that was 4 years ago. If she says she made over a couple $1 million in less than 2 years, I'm gonna take her at her word on that. Why are y'all subscribed to this? And I'm not buying this. I'm not buying skincare routines and I'm singing and dancing. I'm not. No. Okay.
I know I wouldn't pay for that.
I want to see, like, who the hell is going to be subscribing to that to the point where you can make a couple $1 million in under 2 years? Like, I want to see the leisure on. I want to see the gender demographic breakdown of her subscribers. I really want to see that because I can guarantee you, dudes are not interested in you singing and dancing in your skincare routine. They're not. And I firmly believe that you have way more male subscribers than women. And she even prefaced her announcement by saying, "My page ain't just for men," trying to sort of diffuse the idea that my page is only built for men. Even though I'm gay, I feel very comfortable saying that the majority of her subscribers are guys. So that's my whole thing. Who are y'all dudes out here subscribe to Camille Winbush's OnlyFans? Who are you? And like for her to be able to make that much money doing this in that amount of time, I'm not going to fault her for it. As much as I don't respect it, I'm not going to lay into her. She's exploiting a weakness. The market shouldn't exist. That's my thing. The market shouldn't exist. She can do this because there's a market for this bullshit. She should have to learn the painful lesson of, okay, I should have took my Bernie Mac show money and invested in some real estate, or made some smart stock market investments, or maybe invested in crypto back when that was jumping off, or maybe I should have become invested in a couple of McDonald's franchises. That's how you can make your money work. And if she didn't do those things, if she failed to do those things, maybe that should be a hard pill for her to swallow. I didn't make those sort of sound investments. But because this weirdo thing is OnlyFans is around, she doesn't have to swallow that pill. She can just start an OnlyFans and make a couple $1 million because the market exists. So that's my frustration with all of this. The market shouldn't exist, but it does. And so long as it does, I'm not going to lean into her. I'm going to lean into those who allow the marketplace to exist. Why are y'all subscribing to this chick's OnlyFans? Why? What do you get out of that? This is seriously an existential question that I need answers to. I don't know what people get out of this stuff. What do you get out of subscribing to this woman's OnlyFans? It doesn't make sense to me. But that's where I am with this. I'm giving her a pass at this point because I throw my hands up. I'm relenting. She is exploiting a very weak and vulnerable market. And as long as it's around, I gotta sort of, give her kudos. Go ahead and keep doing it. Unfortunately, the market exists, so you might as well exploit it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, man, I guess, dude. And she probably makes content for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Pride oriented, you know what I'm saying? I don't take her for I don't put that past her making pride based content. So she probably want the ladies to come in too and spend their dollars, because let's not forget that there's women out there that's tricking off financially too now. I see y'all hiding in the bushes. Y'all be paying too. So so there's probably some of that she has going on. But yeah, man, I think I just throw it all in the same boat, man. When it's out here being promoted as it is, I mean, I know she's advertising for her brand, so she can get more subscribers and stuff. But I take all of this stuff as all the same. I hear what you're saying, because she wouldn't be this wouldn't even be existing if the market wasn't there. So we can't really blame her. But I blame all actors in this. I blame them all. And because some guys get tempted by some of the actors, bro. And because let's keep it a brick, bro. I know you ain't paying for no OnlyFans. Look, bro, I get it. Okay, I get that you're above that. But let me just say, if there was a chick that did do it, I'm not saying that you're gonna pay for it, but let's say that I don't know who this person is, and we're not young kids anymore, but you really got to teleport back to when you're like 21, bro. I think you can get back there. But if you're like 21, 22, bro, and whatever with Beyonce, but like a Beyonce or Ashanti or something like that, and it was like, hey, bro, you pay $5 to this website, you can see Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop whoop whoop. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna drop that $5, bro. This is 21-year-old, 22-year-old you trying to see a Beyonce, whatever. And I know me personally, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because there'd have been people like what's that? Luann, who we covered before? That lady that was in the tub with the dirty bathwater. Lunell. Yeah, so it feels like, hey, Lunell got an OnlyFans. Like, hey, bro, I ain't paying for that. You know what I'm saying? This is 21, 22-year-old me. Hey, Lunell, here's $5 to see Lunell. Like, look, bro, I ain't trying to spend $5 to see Lunell. But if it was like, oh yeah, Beyonce doing this, hey, bro, Riri got one, bro, where she going whoop de whoop, I would have dropped that. So I say that to say is that these younger people that's out here spending it, man, it's just part of their culture too, man. This is a wild system that we got going on, man, where anything is going. And who's right? Is it the people over here that's saying, hey man, don't do that stuff? Or is it the people that say, hey man, you guys are looking too much into this, you know?
Oh yeah, I feel you. It's the number though.
Mhm.
So first of all, to answer your question, no, I wouldn't have personally.
That's
I wouldn't
serious.
have.
No. I
And
would have
my,
played that. I
my
ain't gonna lie.
because like when I was 21, the world was different back then. So my thing is Maya. Okay, so Maya would have been mine. So someone comes up to me and it's like, "Yo, bro, Maya got an OnlyFans. You paying for that?" I mean, probably not, because I'll just go get a issue of King magazine, and I'll just look at the Maya pictures in the King magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. That's an interesting question. I don't know, but my thing with that, number one, is it ain't just young people. It's all age
I know, I
spectrums now
know, I
are
know,
hooked
I
on.
know.
It's all age spectrums are hooked on this narcotic. So to
I
me,
got
it's not a generational thing. It's a societal thing.
I got you.
And also it's the number. It's not that you got a segment of the population who's like, I'm gonna jump on here and subscribe to this OnlyFans. She's a millionaire off this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So in order to become a millionaire off that, there has to be a high aggregated number of people that you have who are subscribing to your page monthly. In order to be a millionaire, that's my thing. She's a millionaire off that. So it's not the fact that it exists in a vacuum, it's the prevalence of it. And that's my thing is, who are all of y'all subscribing to this? That's the part about it that disturbs me the most.
Nah, for sure. And the only thing I was getting at was the age thing, was just to highlight some immaturity, you know, that you may have had at some point in your life where you would have, hey man, what's $5 for me to see, you know, Maya busted wide open? And you know, for me in that time period, I would have just found a bootleg somewhere. All right. I was like, what is that video of who doing what? All right, bro. I'm gonna find that for the free ski. You know what I'm saying? I was not gonna pay. All right. But and I'm pretty sure, bro, you know, with all of these girls out here nowadays, there's some way that you can find a free ski. But all that stuff to say is that, hey man, I get it, bro. This is a wild time. And I think everybody, like I was saying earlier, I think everybody is just caught up in the winds, bro. I think everybody is just, I mean, it's just true anarchy at this point, man. And anything is going, morality is going anyway. And that's why I was saying also was people are going to get to this point to where who's right? Are we right on this side of the fence by saying, hey, man, we just need to defund this and get out of this? Or is it the people over there that's saying, hey, man, what's the big deal if I'm paying? You know, there's people and they morally feel like they're correct.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So right now, morally, you know, anything's going, that's why anything's happening. And so I think the best thing that we can do, man, is just hang out around like-minded people, bro. And just deal with people that don't deal with this. I think that's the best way we can start doing things socially, is start socially just connecting with people that understand where we're at socially. You know what I'm saying? Like some social understanding. Because right now, where anything goes and everybody's being friends with everybody, you don't want some of this stuff in your wheelhouse, man. So, hey, man, it is what it is. I guess shouts out to her. Get your bag, sister. I mean, you know, Hollywood is a weird thing, so I'm not surprised that somebody that was involved in that life isn't afraid to do something like this. So, you know, that's not far-fetched either. So we'll see what happens with all of this, but apparently she's a millionaire, so ball out.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's not my. It doesn't appeal to my sensibility, so I don't understand it. But you're right. That's you. You raise a good point, and I have thought about that. Like, but I've also that has occurred to me before. This notion of it's no big deal, and I realize that there are those who will probably watch this video and say these guys are gas bagging, complaining about OnlyFans. It's not that serious. Like, I'm aware of that. I know that. But I also know that there's other people who say some of this is a bit too much. Like, I just think we've jumped the shark on it. Like, you know, we've jumped the shark, in my opinion. Like, it ain't like Lori Harvey or Rihanna joint OnlyFans. It's Camille Winbush, and even she can be a millionaire.
Hey,
Even
man.
she can make a couple $1 million off of this. Like, Hell, why not? Everybody might as well just get on it because it's that easy. Apparently, it
Lunel
must
getting
be
it.
that easy.
Hey, Lunel got it. So
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's not for me. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like when I was 21, I was hunting for the real snatch, and I wasn't necessarily. I just wasn't. I wasn't satiated by you know content creators in whatever form content creators existed back then. I would dabble, obviously, but it wasn't something that I just solely relied upon. And I don't know that I saw myself spending money monthly to be able to just gorge on this stuff. I was taking my money and spending them on Air Jordans. I wasn't taking my money and monthly providing, giving my money away to something that I feel like I can get for free.
yeah,
So I don't know.
honestly, now that you mention that, that's really taking addiction to another level, bro. Like you're willing to, you're paying, like some of these dudes is paying like multiple models, over 5, 10, probably some cases $20 a month. And they really treating it like a Spotify subscription or whatever. It's like, oh, $20 got taken out of your account to pay for Dixie Red. And
Yeah, it's like
what?
it's microtransaction. It's DLCs in video games. Like
Yeah.
you bought a video game for $70. By the time you spent all of the money on the DLCs 5 years later, you done spent several thousands of dollars on this one video game. Whereas back in the days when we were growing up playing Genesis and Super Nintendo and even Xbox 360, you bought a game once and everything that you needed was there for that one purchase.
Damn.
And I just think we've jumped the shark with it. I just think we've jumped the shark. That's just how I see it. We've jumped the shark. This dude went viral because they showed receipts of how much money he spends on Ruby Rose OnlyFans, and it was like $10,000. I've already told you about, a guy who spent $10,000 on Ruby Rose OnlyFans. Now they later on they came out saying that was like a skit. I'm not buying it. I believe that he really spent that much money. It was and it was the same guy who was featured in an episode of MTV, like My Addiction. MTV used to have that show chronicling people's sex addictions, and this was a guy who was a member who was on that show.
Okay.
Then they were talking about his sex addiction, and here he is, $10,000 to somebody on OnlyFans. I'm not surprised by that. And Buddy doesn't even understand the full weight of what he's doing, the damage he's causing, and how you can get that for free. It won't be Ruby Rose personally, but what difference does it make? It's a real thing versus something that's on a computer screen. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't. But my thing is, it can be Lunel, millionaire on OnlyFans. Why not? Camille Winbush, it just doesn't seem to matter. The market is exploded so much so that it just doesn't seem to matter who it is, what they've done. It just doesn't matter. It's going to be these sycophants and these weirdos and these degenerates who are going to fuel this stuff and make these people millionaires when they otherwise don't deserve to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, hey man, best of luck to y'all out there. I don't know what's going on, bro. If you are, subscribe, to OnlyFans accounts, hey man, reconsider, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's light at the end of the tunnel, man. Let's find a new hobby, bro. There's things out there, man. But yeah, man, I agree, man, 100%.
I've always said, man, you can take that same money, spend it on a woman. Spend that money on a woman. You can take that same money and spend it on a woman. Save up. If Camille Winbush is charging you $10 a month, go 5 months without subscribing. You got $50 in the bank. Spend it on a woman.
Bro, she gonna spend that on appetizers. She gonna spend that in the first 15 minutes.
At least you in the door. Trust me. If you have enough disposable income to spend money on OnlyFans, you got enough money to spend on a woman.
Nah, I'm just teasing, but I'm just saying, bro. Like it hit different when it comes out the account every month and it's only $10. Then you take it out every 2 weeks and she want another $70 plate.
Yeah, well, you know what else hit different? Real vagina. That hits different too.
Hey man, I'm not advocating for that other
I
stuff.
know. I'm just saying that hits different too.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Adrian Broner out here, man. It costs a little bit too much to just take chicks out on dates and stuff, bro. So hey man, I'm gonna have to do some other type of things. But hey man, I hear what you're saying, bro. But it's all good. Hey man, best of luck to y'all out there, man. Make sure you like and subscribe though.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Camille Winbush. Who would have known? Couple $1 million. But on that note, we're gonna go ahead and cut this stream out. We are done in the books. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Conscious Approach on YouTube. Check us out. Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. I'm on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We will certainly catch you on the flip side. But until later.
Oh shit! I thought you still had something to say.
Yeah, no, I left it hanging. Yeah.
Hey yo, man. The name's Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on TikTok. I'm even posting videos over there. Golly, Dogon_SS over there as well. And as I say on every pod, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, my peoples, more rings to Robert Ory. We'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Oh boy. Shouts out to Team USA. Fellas, put the OnlyFans down, please.
Put it down. Put it down. And pick up
we
the
are
bang.
out. Peace.
Go Canes. Yeah, we coming for y'all this